not an agency of the United States government. So if they're not you to give them anything. Right? So first thing is the Constitution. The next thing is that case. Right? Also, in the Code of Federal Regulations, which is CFR, so if you look up federal stuff and it says CFR, it means Code of Federal Regulations. Which code, Moors will try to play with you with the words. Code just means codex. It's just a list of information. You get it? So it's not like a code like it's something tangible. It's just a list of information, right? So 26 CFR, which means Title 26 of the Code of Federal Regulations, is the chapter on the IRS. Subsection 601.602. So 26 CFR 601.602. That's how you type it in on Google. Letter A will state that there's multiple forms dealing with taxes. It will also state that taxes are voluntary. So say taxes are based on voluntary compliance. That's what it says on the Code of Federal Regulations dealing with the IRS, Title 26, subsection 601.602. Right?
Yep.
Then, on the IRS's very own website, it will state this. There's multiple case laws trying to argue against not filing a tax return based on the claim that taxes are voluntary. Right? They never state that taxes are not voluntary. Read the case law. It's on IRS.gov. Read it for yourself. It only states that you can't make the argument that you don't have to file a return based on the fact that it's voluntary. That don't mean you owe them. You just have to report, I'm not paying you. That's it. Read the case law. Read it. It's on the IRS website. Read it. Then, right? Also on the website is the IRS form. This is the form that you're going to need to fill out. W4V. Guess what the V stands for? Voluntary. Then it'll say, it talks about different types of things, right? Then it'll say, I think it's, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. It's different types of, like get 401k or whatever. So whatever type of money you're getting, and it says and other payments. Is that specific?
No.
It's very general, right? Okay. So when you perform a job or at work, what do you get? Paid. You get paid, right? So if I say other payments and you're getting paid, what do you think? Okay, I'm getting paid. The word payment is right there, so I fall under that category, right? Because it's not specific, right? So as an example, it says you have the right to free speech, which means you can say whatever you want, right? Because it's general, right? So if the phrase other payments is general, that means it applies to you. And that's the IRS document, right? So you fill out like number 1, which is your first name, number 2, which is your last name, number 3, which is like your employee identification number. You don't have to fill out a social security number. Then you cross out number 7, which states I want you to stop withholding money from my paychecks, from my payments. It don't say income. It does not say income. It says payments. That's what it says.
You don't pay income taxes, you garnish your wages.
Yep.
Right.
So now, here's the thing. This is where they try to trick Moors. Where people have been commenting on my YouTube, so-and-so Moore does X amount of years for defrauding the IRS, etc. with bogus tax returns. I'm not saying fill out anything and you're going to get X amount of money there. I'm saying fill out the IRS document on their website with instructions on how to fill it out, cross out number 7, and that's it. Then report to the IRS that there's nothing to report. Because taxes are voluntary based on what you said in your documents. You get it?
Yeah, I get it. So what they ain't gonna be sending you information saying that you filled it out incorrectly?
No. The case law that I'm telling you to read on the IRS website is people not filing the W-2. based on the claim that taxes are voluntary, you still have to report that you're not paying. That's all you gotta do. Right? So the where they're trying to hem people up is people are evading taxes. Now how do you evade taxes? You fill out the W-4 and then you don't pay. Now you're evading it because you said you were going to do it. Now you're not doing it. Now you're evading it. But if you say I want you to stop based on your documents and that it's voluntary, I'm not doing shit. I'm exercising my what? My Article 1, Section 10 right to what? To contract. Right? So that's another way, the actual way the W-4B. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, hold on.
This is something different. What about the Medicaid and stuff like that?
I haven't figured that out yet. And
That could also be under
the state
other payments, right?
could be.
No, I think when you
We
stop
went
funding,
over.
stop that.
In some cases they stopped the state.
And they stop now.
Do you want to hold this and just flip the camera? Put that one there. That's not your face. It's just the voice, right?
No, it was.
And that's not them taking the text out?
That one's live.
Am I just pointing at myself?
You ain't
Oh, it's live?
even me yet.
Oh.
I think it was on Wednesday.
What was I saying? What was your question? Oh, I haven't figured that out yet. But I'm sure you can just attach an affidavit with your W-4V, because even when you fill out the W-4, it tells you to specify when you want them to stop taking, if you want them to stop taking taxes out. It says it on the W-4. There's instructions right on all the shit. It's just we're not reading it, right?
You can print the W-4B, but the
Yeah.
funny thing is most jobs have.
Yeah.
It's an IRS document. They
Yeah.
have all of them.
Yep,
Yeah.
they just don't pay my debt. They just don't offer them to you.
Yeah, I
Cause
brought
it's-
my W-4B
yeah.
in and my job had it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we have this document.
Yeah,
Like,
alright.
I wish I'd have known that before.
Yep. They only give that to independent contractors, which are mostly European,
Yep.
That makes sense.
where they don't have to work. They don't have to be on call like you do, nigger. Trust me, I was the low voltage technician at Special Technologies, and everybody was on rotation, on call for the weekend, except for this one guy who said, I'm not working holidays and I'm not working weekends. They said, okay. I was like, what the fuck? How do I get that? How do I get that shit? And then someone explained to me the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. And then I read that shit in a law book, and there's an absolute difference. One's free, the other one's not. One's a thinker, the other one's not. That's basically it. And for the Marines, one's a corporal, one's a private. One's making decisions, the other one's taking orders. Right? Also, for taxes, look up Don E. Williams versus the IRS commissioner. That case is being used as res judicata or stare decisis. Was res judicata means a thing already adjudicated. Stare decisis means to look fixedly at. So we're looking at this case to apply it to other cases, which is dealing with Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution. Again, it's Don, D-O-N, E, as in echo, like Edward, I don't know the middle name, but it's E, Williams versus the IRS commissioner. Now, what's very... The highlight to this case is enumerated paragraph or alphabetic paragraph E, which states that notes, even when payable on demand and fully secured, are still only a promise to pay and not payment. Now, that paper that we have in our wallet has the word Federal Reserve note on it. So if a note is not payment, can you pay anything with a note? No. Then it continues to specify that for tax purposes, it's considered a conditional payment. Now, this is what Moors that claim to know contract law and the UCCs are not telling you. In order for a contract to be valid, there has to be something called legal or lawful consideration. Lawful consideration falls under two categories. One, it's considered something of value within the eyes of the law, and or two, it's considered something of value between the two parties. So under the condition that you think it's of value, and they're claiming that it's of value, they're going to accept it. You get it? That's why it's a conditional payment. Under the condition, you believe this has value. So to destroy that foundation that has any type of value, look up H.R., which means House Resolution as in the House of Representatives, as in the House of Representatives of the United States Congress for the United States of America, the supreme legislative body for all 50 colonies. They stated in House Resolution 25, the Fair Tax Act of 2019, introduced to the floor of Congress 2008, 2009, and 2015, and of course 2019, by Representative Woodall, who did a whole 19-minute speech on YouTube about this, that, excuse me, I'm thinking of the wrong one. I'm going in on the wrong one. It's House Resolution, but still, HR 25 Fair Tax Act of 2019 also talks about dissolving the IRS, how it's unfair and inequitable. So all these more talking about equity court. If the IRS, if Congress is saying that federal income tax is unfair and inequitable, and we're supposed to be dealing with a court of equity, which is Article 3, right? Then according to the Constitution and Congress, paying federal income tax is inequitable, which means it's against the Constitution, right? But my main point of saying the House Resolution was really House Resolution 5404 of March 22nd, 2018, which states that the United States dollar has lost 96% of its value since 1913. So, since in Don E. Williams, it was considered a conditional payment, with one of the clauses being that it has value in the eyes of the law, that House Resolution, which was not passed, it wasn't passed, it was just introduced, it was an admittance that it lost 96% of its value. Whether the bill was passed or not is irrelevant. They still admitted to you that the USD has lost 96% of its value. So in the eyes of the law, it has no value. So the only other alternative is whether you believe it does and the IRS does, which is why it's a conditional acceptance. Which you disclosing to them that you know it has no value, it can no longer be a valid contract, because a valid contract must have legal or lawful consideration, which they can't force you to believe in it. So they scare you. Don't pay your taxes, you're gonna go to jail. Look what we did to Wesley Snipes. Okay, well he said he was gonna pay and he didn't. That shit don't apply to me. Yeah.
When you finish, would you just go over the farm, the WB farm?
Yeah.
Like Rickwood?
Yeah. So this is why, according to the UCC, we make our counter offer of silver, because in the Uniform Commercial Codes, I think it's UCC 3-604, 3-603, around that. We have multiple options. So as an example, let's say I owe you $500, right, Donovan? I owe you $500, and I say, hey, bro, the value of gold is at 2 G's right now, so I'll give you this ounce of gold as payment, right? If you say no, you're declaring that I no longer owe you shit, because I offered you something of equal or more value, and you said no, which means you discharge that debt. That's uniform amongst the states. It's called Uniform Commercial Code for a reason, because in every single state's law library, it's there, and they're using it.
That only applies here.
No, that's common law, bro. Yeah, that's common. That's common. They just codified it. That's it. They just wrote it down. That was it. Because remember, you have express trust, implied trust, all that shit. So it's the same concept, right? So that's why we make a counter offer. Or we can just say, as an example, Title 12 of the United States Code, subsection 411, states that the United States takes on all obligations, which means debts, of the Federal Reserve notes. So if you're asking me for payment of anything in Federal Reserve notes, which I know has no value, go talk to the Treasury. What are you talking to me for?
Yeah,
And if you're claiming that I do owe you something, let me stay in honor and make this counter offer of silver. Or let me be a national and say, I'll make you a counter offer in this Moorish money, which is, the ratio is 9 to your 1, or a million to your 1. So if you say I owe you X amount of money in back taxes and I give you $1 Moorish dollar, well, that's 9 million of yours. So I just paid you, plus some. So give me my change. That's the power of a nation. Look it up. In the Uniform Commercial Codes, it talks about tender of payment. You can use foreign money of equal or greater value. Look it up. That's why when we was in Japan, the yen or whatever it was called, or the baht, maybe that's, I don't know, I can't remember. I was in different Asian countries, they got different names for their money, but the USD was always at least 1.5 to their 1. So 1.5 times more, because they're putting their value on it, which is their gun. They're telling you my shit is worth more than your shit, son, and I got 556 to prove it. That's what they're doing. Right? So I'll do a recap. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution states that only Congress can collect taxes. And last time I checked, IRS does not spell Congress. Right? Then they'll lie and say, well, the 16th Amendment granted them authority to tax. Okay, so look up House Resolution 16.
House Resolution 16.
16. And they're talking about repealing the what? 16th Amendment, saying that it's what? Unnecessary. Why? Because Article 1, Section 8 already deals with it. Which means it's what? It's fraud. Because anything after the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections is fraud. Right? So Article 1, Section 8 deals with that. Deals with taxes. The Don E. Williams versus the IRS Commissioner case also states that, also deals with taxes, right? It states that a note is considered a conditional acceptance because, excuse me, your idea that it has value. And you gotta believe anything I say. Look it up. Get your Black Soul Dictionary. Look up conditional, lawful consideration or legal consideration. Look it up. It'll tell you. It says it right in it. The reason why I know is because I read it. Right? Then 26 CFR Code of Federal Regulations 601.602 states that taxes are voluntary. Then on IRS.gov, W4V, V as in voluntary, tells you that that document is for payments. Now, when your boss gives you that check, what do they call it? A what check? A paycheck. Do they call it a income?
No.
Do they say, here's your income? No, they say, here's your paycheck. Right? So the W4V applies to you. So all you do is fill out like 1 through 4. You don't have to put in a social security number. Just basic information, first name, last name. And the employer can fill out your employee ID number or whatever. And then you cross out number 7, which states, I want you to stop taking payments from my check. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when filling out that form,
Yeah.
people that's like on Section 8 get benefit from the government and all that stuff, they will get affected, right?
I'm not sure.
Things will be different.
I think I was reading something that says like if you get social security benefits.
Yeah.
all
I'm
this
pretty
type
sure
of
those
stuff.
alleged benefits, which aren't benefits, that it's affected by how much you're taking home. So I would assume that it does affect it. But again, it does. I would assume that it does. But again, that is your private business. And according to the Constitution, Article 4, Fourth Amendment, you have the right to security in your person's papers and effects. So nobody needs to know how much you make. And if they want to know if your payments have changed, they better have a warrant. Which poses the problem of that's not you. So of course they can look up any information that they want because it ain't you. Which leads further into more signs that we shouldn't be working for them. We should have our own stuff. Which would lead you more to more signs, which means we got to start doing some shit. But since we're not at that level yet, let me just talk about these documents.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I know what it is. I know the direction we need to be in. But I also see the inactivity of our people and how this can help them become active. Not to say, they're good or bad people. That's just what it is. You get what I'm saying? Because just because you work for somebody don't make you a bad person. Just because you can't do as much as you want does not make you a bad person. I know that this can help Moors. But if you're not paying taxes, because W4V works, make sure you do that W2 to report to them that you're not giving them anything because you filled out their forms. And it's not income, it's payment.
So what?
Make sure you use some of that 100% of your paycheck to invest in Moors that are actually going in a direction.
Yeah, because my one day a weekend sending all my money out here is really, really good too. Hey, so wait.
Lying.
Go back a little bit.
Yes.
All right, I understand the filling out the W4B.
Yep.
What about the W2? I'm missing something.
The W-2 is reporting to the IRS. On the IRS's website, it stated that you cannot claim that taxes are voluntary as a reason why you're not reporting to them that you're not paying them.
Right,
And I'm saying that in more words than they said it.
right.
Because remember, law is specific.
Yeah.
So what they do is they'll mention things, but not other things, which means they're leaving it out, which
Yeah.
means it doesn't apply. Because they're if you read, I'm telling you, read it. It'll say multiple times, claiming that taxes are voluntary is not an excuse for not filing a return. They never said you had to pay it. They just said you have to file a return. What is a return? The return is you saying to them, you're not giving them anything. Because it's voluntary based on their documents.
So,
And that's not you getting any money back, so that's not you defrauding them, nothing.
all right, so you saying when you filing your tax return, right?
Yeah.
You file, you not,
Well, I see what you're saying.
you
Sorry.
still, yeah, no, I think we're saying the same thing.
I see what you're saying.
Right, so we still have to file, right?
Yes. You just don't have to give them anything. That's the trick.
Even
What
if
you
it
mean
says,
like give them anything? You're
even
not
if it
giving
says
them
that you
shit.
owe them when you file it, you don't have to give them.
It's like
No,
you
it's
go-
voluntary.
It's like you go to court. It's like you go to court and they say, you know what? The court's gonna find this case, da 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 da, right? And you don't understand what da 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 is, but they give you a piece of paper that says this court is being dismissed due to lack of prosecution. Just sign right here.
Yeah.
That's all you do. You just sign right here. Here you go. The court,
Yeah.
y'all do whatever y'all want to do with that.
Yeah.
But this case is dismissed due to lack
Get
of
it?
prosecution.
So, all
In
right.
that case, is
All right.
we don't have to pay.
When you sign the W-4, they're taking money out. When you fill out the W-2, they're telling you how much you paid them and deciding if they owe you money or not. Right? So you fill out the W-4V, which means they ain't taking shit out.
Right.
So when you file the W-2,
You showed it out.
they didn't take shit out. So all you're reporting to them is you didn't take shit out. And I'm not giving you nothing.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Because on the IRS's website, it says you can't not file a return.
You're saying like on an after.
Yes.
After filing the W-4B.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's say,
They just put it on a notice, pretty much. Right?
Yeah, you're reminding them that you're not giving them shit based on their documents.
like with me,
And if they have a problem, tell them to check their IRS code. Because it says that they tax income. These are payments, not income.
so with me, I started getting taken out in March, which means January, February went on with them still taking.
Yeah. So that means you have to report on that.
Yeah, and I have to pay
For that time period, yeah. Because you signed because the W-4 that you signed applied during that time.
Now, I'm gonna say this.
Oh, so you
I haven't filled out a W-2 in 2 years.
Yep.
Like I haven't filled out at all, but they still take tax on my check. I know why.
It's tacit acquiescence, that's why.
Right, exactly. So I understand why.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I still ain't fucking sign off on the contract.
But again, remember that name isn't you.
Right,
It's just affecting you.
exactly. I know.
Which is part of the larger problem, which Moors don't want to address, because that means we have to take responsibility and protect each other, which they don't want to do that.
So I'm going to I'm going to do my W-4B.
Yeah.
Right? When I file my, right now it says I have a W-2, right? That's-
W-4.
It's W-4, excuse me. I got a W-4 and it's saying I think they taking a lot of taxes out.
Of course.
Right.
Like 40%.
Yeah.
That's damn near 50.
And even on my income tax, I'll probably pay in $22,000 and probably get a $7,000 check. So it's
Yep.
still, you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So
Crumbs. You're getting crumbs of your own money.
Yeah, so what am I doing it for?
Yep.
So I fill out the W-4B.
Yeah.
Redo the W-2.
Well, when it's time to file your return, that's when you file the W-2. Remember, the W-2 is at the.
W-4, no. So
Yeah.
when you go to do the W-4B,
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Gonna
That's
cancel
canceled
that W-4 out.
Yeah.
Then when you go to do your
Your return.
W-2, your W-2, you let them know y'all ain't take shit out.
Yep.
I don't owe y'all nothing.
Right, well, they're taking it out as far as now, so I'm going to do it Monday.
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
enough.
So you would only owe what, or you would only report for when they were taking it out.
Okay, so, okay,
Yeah. According to their rules,
okay.
and you have to remind them that it's their rules.
Right, but even on the, it's not like I'm writing that number in though. 'Cause
Which
once I
number?
print so I'm gonna have to X out the amount.
If it's wrong,
Right.
Because just because they typed it up don't mean it's right.
Right.
Because remember, that representative that spoke about House Resolution 25 Fair Tax Act of 2019 stated that when they raise taxes on businesses, all they do is raise their prices and make you pay it. So of course the business is going to do whatever it needs to do for their benefit. So you better make sure, you better take account. This is where accounting is, right? Where all these more talk about accounts. An account is an abstract noun. You don't have an account. You take an account of your shit. So if what you made don't add up to what they have typed, you fix it. That's what makes you
You
competent.
would have to do the taxes on paper, the W-2.
You would have to calculate how much you've been making and how much they've been taking from you. Because just because they type in a number don't mean it's right.
Yeah.
And how many people, how often do we just have grammatical errors when we're typing?
Nah, you're right.
So you think these IRS agents and these W-2 people don't have any mistakes on any of their documents?
You're right. I'm gonna tell you why. How do you work
Come on.
40 hours every week, same pay, but then 1 week or 2-3 weeks out of the whole year they take out 5 or 6 cents more than they did the last week, and your pay has been consistent. But they do shit like that.
What are they calculating? Nothing. Show me credit right now.
Show you what?
Credit, show me. The only credibility you have is that your breath stinks.
Online.
Her breath stinks. That's what you're known for. You can't show credit.
Right, get it out.
So how do you calculate it?
Huh?
It's an illusion.
It is an illusion. How do you calculate street cred? You can't. You see, you have it or you don't.
It's an illusion.
So how do you calculate competency? You don't. It's either you have it or you don't.
How you calculate what?
Competency. You can have a test, but just because I ask you one question and you answer it a different way doesn't mean you're wrong.
Exactly. That's true. Thank you. The tests don't mean nothing. They need to stop.
It's just an observation for the person who created the test.
Yes.
So now these people have been testing you. How many times did you even question the accuracy of your W-2?
I said, how much they say? I'm gonna tell you, this is what I say. I look at it. Who I gave you? They say I
Yep.
made. This is my words. They
Yep.
say I made.
Yep. They said it.
They said it.
They
That's
said.
what I said. I'm going back. That's what I said.
I used to say the same shit.
Yeah, they said I made.
Oh, they said I made this much? Oh, they said I'm getting this much? Oh, they said I owe them this much? They said. Also, you're in control. Not me. Well, what I call mine, my money, my paycheck, my job. Oh,
They control it.
yeah. And we're free? Oh.
So how does that?
So, in addition, because you need to know this information for your arguments, House Resolution 25 Fair Tax Act of 2019 states that so HR 25, that's all you really need. And just remember it's from 2019 because, you know, they're reminding us again in 2019. It states that, again, federal income tax is unfair and inequitable. And in the Constitution, Article 3, it states that the United States Supreme Court has jurisdiction over equity. So if it's stating that it's inequitable, and you go to court and you're arguing with the IRS that this is inequitable, the Supreme Court has to rule that it's inequitable because that's what Congress said. It doesn't matter if the bill was passed or not. It's an admission of guilt.
Arden, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When they try to foreclose your mother's house, did they ever put a foreclosure sign on her house?
No. I actually filed something in City Hall and then they haven't done anything since. They told my mom something, so then I showed up armed and then that was it.
But when you just said you filed something in City Hall, you pay attention though. Where did they do all their business at?
City Hall.
City Hall. When they gonna foreclose on your home?
City Hall.
City Hall.
But now my mom got some heat on the record. They can't hide that. How they gonna hide that shit? So now anyone looking at the property trying to purchase it, that's there. Uh-oh. You got some problems now.
So we gotta leave it alone.
Yep.
What? Had they put it
So now their goal is to discredit me. Now their goal is to discredit me now.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got. The proof is too the proof is too there.
They're not trying to discredit you.
By calling me a domestic terrorist, bro?
But wait, that's your mother's property, so they're not really discrediting you. But they would have to discredit her.
Yeah, nah. Because
Yeah.
because she appointed me trustee.
But they haven't foreclosed.
No, they
So
haven't.
they hadn't discredited her.
No. They can't.
So she still has
I'm talking about publicly, not on the record.
Yeah.
I'm talking about by using agents that look like us saying, oh, he's this and he's that. Meanwhile, my mom's still rested, good, at the house that I've been in since 1999. Straight. Chilling. That's remedy.
That's the mission.
But you don't want that. You want to hear, oh, he's a terrorist because he has a gun. Oh, my God. Well, cops got guns every day. You don't call him a terrorist. You say police brutality, even though they're terrorizing you.
Yo, you know the funny part? That you could have showed more like Gino Raimondo discharged like that
Yeah, I showed him that, yeah.
for $1.
Yeah,
And it's still this way.
yeah. And that's on City Hall, their City Hall.
He
You
showed that
actually showed me.
Yeah.
He actually took a whole group of us and said, look, this is how you do it.
It's not gonna work for us, we're
So-
black.
He's like, look, what it says right
It's
Same
it's
paper he printed
it's
out.
only not gonna work for us because we don't have organization.
Period.
How does a gang fight another gang? Organization, structure, with actual bodies. So how do we stop? How do we do what they're doing? Organization, structure, people, bodies.
Like, for example, the property, not for nothing, we own that shit.
No, absolutely.
We own that
Bro,
shit.
that's why they had to take us to court. What are you talking about?
No, but that's why they haven't done anything.
Bro, that's why they had to vandalize it.
Yeah.
It's working too much. But Moors don't see it. They're like, it's too bright.
It's like, you know
You know what I'm saying? They're blinded by the light.
Ball that you in it, right? And let's say you in it, right? And you know that all you gotta do is break that bubble, that air bubble in that balloon, and you out, you're free. You're not encapsulated in that bubble, right? And that's really what it is. So it's like, it's like, 4 or 5 more come push. So you know, we're pushing. It's making the dent of that hole that we need to break the fuck out. But it's not enough of us pushing.
Exactly.
But
You
consistency.
understand?
But there's still
It's a metaphor.
but there's still a dent. So it's still proof this can be done. We just need more.
Those five will still.
We just need more. That's it.
Yeah.
We need, you know what, Brother Jamal, we need to get out of the notion of numbers. Oh, we need 1 million, we need 1,000, we need 10 trillion. No, we don't. We do not need 5, 10 of us who are united, one mind, one sound, one voice, one direction, one heartbeat. Yes, we can do it, as opposed to 1,000 people who are different, we are all confused. Like, we need to get the notion out of numbers. That first and foremost, we need to erase that. It's one heart, one sound, one voice,
Right.
one heartbeat. That's it.
Well, we come to the conclusion that the U.S. is big bullies, and like I said, the only way you can get a bully is with force. You know, 5 folk. If me and him in a squad, and I'd like to convert to the Marine Corps, that's when we were just the realest in my life situation. If it's 5 of you guys, you know, stand in front of your home and saying we're not going anywhere,
And you best
I'ma look I'ma look back because my squad is 12 of us. They say they don't want to leave, and we're gonna come. But if it's 12 of us in my squad and I look and it's 12 of them, we're gonna look
You're gonna
back.
reconsider.
Do we really want these problems? That's what I think.
You're gonna have to go back and strategize.
That's what I'm
So let's
saying.
make them go back and strategize.
The 5 of we can
Yeah.
still put down the 12. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. The 5 of we can put down
Absolutely,
the 12.
absolutely, because some of them ain't built for this. But to be effective across the board,
Word. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Jamal. I'm just saying, so that for the minds that are thinking that the numbers plays a big
Oh, it's
role.
the most important. Okay.
yeah, no.
Right.
You know
That's
what
what
I mean?
Nah.
Yeah, that's
They
how
they
I know
de-
that
they
people-
destabilize governments with a SEAL team. That's not a lot of people. Destabilizing governments with 6 people.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
So we got a fire team right here. I'm just saying. We can then start protecting each other. I'm just saying. But anyway, someone asked. Hold on, I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna read it in their voice. Does Jamal have a job where he has tested out his premise?
Nah, but I do.
So hold on, no, I know. Hold on, but hold on. Let me introduce you, right?
Alright.
How is it my premise if it's on IRS.gov? How is it my premise if you Google search 26 CFR 601.602 and it pops up on law.cornell.edu? How is that my premise? How is it my premise if you type in House Resolution 25, Fair Tax Act of 2019, and you Google search that, it pops up on congress.gov. How is that my premise? So what I tell you, they can only try to discredit me, not the information. When it's not about me, it's about the information. So now, you want to come over here and tell them, don't tell them your name, because I don't want them to report, and don't say where you're from, and don't even bring your face on camera, just show them your hand so you know it's not mine. Here's my one hand, my other hand holding the camera. Boom, another more right there.
Yes, I actually have a job, and I turned in my W-4V in March, and since then, there has been no federal or state taxes taken out of my paychecks.
Does Jamal's premise work? How dumb do you sound? IRS.gov is not Jamal's premise. Congress.gov is not Jamal's premise. Law.cornell.edu is not Jamal's premise. The Constitution for the United States of America, adopted in 1789, is not my, 1790 is not my premise.
It is on Jamal.com.
It's not on Jamal.com. I looked it up. It's not there. It's not on mybelief.net either.
Not on WikiLeaks.
It might be. Right? So that's the type of garbage I'm talking about.
She said what?
Does Jamal have a job to prove his premise? It's not my premise. It's not even my information. The law was created before I was even born. The Don E. Williams case happened before I was even born. What are you talking about? The Constitution was written before I was even born. What are you talking about? My premise.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Barack Obama said the Constitution is derived from
Muslim law.
Alright, finish the recap.
I recap. Article 1, Section 8 says only Congress can levy and assess taxes. IRS does not spell Congress, nor is it an acronym for Congress. Don E. Williams versus the United States states that USD is not payment and is considered a conditional payment because you put value on it, which means you can challenge the value. You can challenge, huh?
You said Don E. versus
Don E. Williams versus the IRS commissioner. So I apologize if I said the United States. Don E. Williams versus the IRS commissioner. So since it states that it's conditional payment and not payment, you can use the counter offer of silver, or just state that in House Resolution 5404, Congress stated that the United States dollar has lost 96% of its value, and they caused the Great Depression. You can also state that in House Resolution 25 of the Fair Tax Act of 2019, Congress stated that federal income tax is unfair and inequitable, which, in a court of equity, which is Article 3, Section 1, you would win. Because Congress said it's unfair and inequitable. Congress said that, not you. So it's not your premise.
Right.
It's not your belief.
Right.
It's congressional findings. Because when you look up House Resolution 25, it says Congress finds that A, B, C, D, and E. So Congress found that, not me. And it doesn't matter if it's a passed bill or it's not. They still admitted it lost 96% of its value, which every time the USD goes down, gold and silver goes up. Hence the Great Depression.
They also stated it is inequitable.
Yeah, it says unfair and inequitable, which means unfair and unfair.
They know that it is.
It's congressional findings, yeah. That's the whole point. So it's not your premise, it's not your belief, it's congressional findings. Article 4, Section 1.
What I'm saying is,
Stare decisis.
even if they wanted to say, oh, but that bill wasn't passed,
Again,
they still
it's
did.
still in admittance. It's still on the record. It's still Article 4, Section 1. Res judicata. Stare decisis. It was already decided that that's what it is.
That's just like saying,
That's like saying, hold on.
that's like saying,
No, stop. No, I got a better one.
That's like saying, you know, we bomb Syria once a week.
Damn, that's close. All right, you got it.
We bomb Syria once a week, you know.
But we didn't get fined. We're not found guilty of genocide.
We're not found guilty of any war crimes or anything
Yeah.
like that. So
It's still a fucking admittance.
we're gonna try to destabilize our army over there.
Yeah.
And get them out of it.
Yeah.
So we won't have to bomb
Yeah.
Syria.
I was gonna say that's like saying like OJ, right? The book If I Did It, nigga, you did it. But he wasn't found guilty.
Right.
And double jeopardy. Now he can't be found guilty.
Can't be bombed.
Still in admittance. That's like saying, you know, I did a murder and I write about it. Just because I'm not found guilty doesn't mean I wrote about the shit. So there you go. Same thing with them. They're telling you it's unfair and inequitable. And when you read it, it says it has a disproportionate adverse impact on lower income Americans. Who are they talking about? You. Then it states, since it's not being complied with at satisfactory levels, it raises the tax burden on law-abiding citizens, which means who? You. That's why Donald Trump was like, fuck you, I'm not showing you my tax return, you bitch-ass niggas, because only idiots pay taxes to a government that doesn't represent them, to a government that murders them in the streets and records it, to a government that takes a knee to one of your people being murdered instead of arresting the murderer.
Which is why Obama showed no mercy.
Or a driver's license.
Yeah.
And when Obama got out, he did a whole skit on him waiting at the DMV because he don't have a driver's license. And this is just more stuff. They giving you signs and symbols all throughout the White House, and this is just Jamal's premise. And y'all let people get away with that? Y'all are funny. Y'all are real funny. Yes.
When you was mentioning about the legal and lawful consideration that the
Yeah.
basis of the contract, you mentioned the HR 25,
Yes. And the House Resolution.
2019, like there was what, you mentioned that and then you went to 2008, 2009, 2015,
Yeah.
and 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a different HR?
Nope, it's the same exact one. Same, but it's showing you that they've been talking about it since 2008. Which, what happened then? The stock market crashed.
I'm sorry,
Crash.
because
That's
you're
a
correcting
crash.
yourself. You're correcting
Damn.
yourself.
And then they talked about 2019 and a year later.
Yeah.
The stock market crashed.
Yeah. And when I was in the military, government shut down again for what? Lack of fundings under Obama. And we were talking about, oh, we're not about to get paid?
I remember that.
And they paid the military. Best believe they did.
Fucking right.
Then under Trump, it shut down like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
For what? Lack of money? So they're taking 40% of your paycheck and they're shutting down for lack of money? And you don't got a problem with that?
No, but they gave everybody all this corona money.
And they gave 22 trillion in corporate bailout, and you don't have a problem with that? And you believe them? Oh, because they took a knee for George Floyd, huh? They put on their Wakanda chess set outfit, took a knee, and now you're happy. And they made a street called Black Lives Matter Circle, and you're happy now.
And they gave him 1,200.
Oh yeah, and Daddy Trump threw you quick, smooth 12, real quick.
Say he want his name.
And you were saying, not my president. As soon as he gave you that smooth 1,200,
Trump all right.
mouth shut, glue shut.
Trump all right with me.
Nah, they didn't even say that. They were just, all right.
They say nothing. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about politics. Oh, now you don't know nothing about politics.
I do got a question about the
I got no answers for you.
legal tender.
Yeah.
The count off.
Yeah.
So let's say I do file at the end of the year, my W-2.
Yeah.
I can use that and
You can use any argument you want.
and to offer them the silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we've done that several times with several federal cases that we filed in the courts of appeals. Because in order to file an appeal, you have to pay $500. We offered silver and got every single appeal open. And that's federal court, so
I mean, that's big now.
that's not Jamal's premise. Like he said, that's the big dogs. That's the feds. The 97% conviction rate, feds. That's what we're talking about. The big guys. The guys that everyone's scared of. We're talking to them like, this is what the law is. Sorry. Not sorry. These are your rules. Not Jamal's premise. And then we're showing you proof that, hey, this is what we did. Go look it up for yourself. Matter of fact, here's the information for free, so you can do it for yourself. We're just asking for support. Like, come out here so we can help protect each other to continue to do this work. That's it. You don't gotta give me nothing. Don't pay me. Don't give me no money. Don't even go to my website to buy nothing. Just look at the information for free and do it yourself. And if you're not built like that, then come over here and help us do it for you. And with you. That's it. Ain't no big eyes, little U's. It's just you play your role, we'll play ours, and that's it. And we move forward. When have you ever seen two Bs arguing? Tell me the last time you heard two Bs fighting about anything, about what to do next. Nah, they just do shit, right? They have a common goal, right? Collect this honey. Our common goal should be what? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which incorporates protecting each other. So where's the confusion at? The only confusion is the fear and the jealousy. That's it. Ain't no morals. We're talking about Second Amendment and protecting each other before I started opening my mouth about it. Now a lot of people are talking about it. Good. That's the topic. That's what we need to do. You tired of oppression? All right. Do what all the holy books say. Jesus said, if you got a robe or a cloak, sell that shit and get a sword. That's what Jesus told you. Oh, you don't believe me? Google it. And what did the prophet tell you? I'm going to use the Bible to condemn this government. Don't throw that book away. Don't throw it away, he said. Then he said, some of my good morals are still in the church. Because there's some good people in the church. They're there for sincere, honest reasons. It's just the pastor's a liar. People singing their ass off. Keying their ass off. Jumping their ass off. Feeling the ghost. Those are some good people in there. They keep the church going. They're giving tithes, 10%. Plus, so they're paying 40% to the feds, 10% to the church. That's 50% of your paycheck to stay stagnant. I'm not even asking you for a percentage. I'm saying if this information works for you, please assist. That's it. And you know damn well they pass around the plate multiple times. They start church off real lit, music playing. Oh, this is about to be pastor about to spit some fire.
Right.
I know a pastor, if you don't collect more than 10,000 for the night, he sends it back around and he
Yep.
gives everybody else.
Yep.
To get another 5,000.
Yep. Start off lit, drums playing, people singing. Then, right, drums still slowly playing in the background, pastor spitting that shit. So now you in a trance. Oh shit.
Gotcha.
Oh shit. Then music start turning up, you start jumping up and down, pass on a collection plate. Ooh, you're lit, energy, money flying out of your pocket. Money flying out
I
of
don't need it. I don't need
you.
it.
Like money flying out of you, right? Then,
Like the club.
yep,
Like the club.
yep. Then pastor calm you back down. Then you gotta turn to chapter 25 of the book of da. And Paul said this. Smite the devil, and Jesus the Christ said this. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Collection plate go around again.
I'm building that right there.
So you gave, hey, last time you gave 5. Now he said the real hallelujah and the real amen. You putting 10 in that bitch.
And he just had a
Ten and
revelation,
a-
he just had a revelation that 10
Ten and a-
people are going to sow a seed of 10,000. In the next 2 months, they will receive something.
Yep. So not only 10% of your paycheck goes to the church,
Yeah.
40% goes to the state. None of them give a fuck about you. You're out 50% of your energy, and you're wondering why you're living paycheck to paycheck, struggling.
Church building, don't forget we have a church.
You're wondering, and the roof is always messed up.
Yeah, the roof.
Every church you go to, roof problems. So Jesus ain't hooking you up with a new roof, but pastor got a new suit and a new car and a big house. But Jesus ain't hooking you up with a new roof though.
All the pastors a doctor.
Pastor's a doctor.
I've seen it.
Pastor says, by the power invested in me by the state, not by God, I now announce you man and wife. Oh, so the state is giving you authority to do what you're doing, not God. Nowhere in the Bible does it say state got to give you permission to do shit, you 501c3 sellout. But anyway, I digress. Let's see what else these people have to say about my premise. Jamal, you are showing remedy. I sent a letter and some documents in the mail. I've been working to enforce the treaty and constitution. I need a brother such as you to stand with me. Inshallah, move out here. I'll stand with you. I will. I'm dead serious. I showed up to my mom's house strapped. You're not about to tell my mom to get the fuck out her house. You're bugging. I claim to be a man, so you're not speaking to my mom like that. Sorry. I speak to my mom however I want because we joke around. That's the relationship we have, but you're not about to do that. Sorry. Especially with the laws, right? Especially with the fact that every single, well, as an example, in the state of Rhode Island, it's Rhode Island general laws that any bank trying to foreclose on you has to give you the option of mediation to cure the debt. That never happened. So according to your own state laws, you're violating my right to due process. Get the fuck out of here. As a man, I'm not going to no European to say, oh, your fellow European counterparts are being mean to my mom. I'm going to tell you, this is what the law is. Don't force me to do something else. This is what the law is. Why are you forcing me to be uncivilized? This is what the law is. Let's be civilized. What are you talking about? Why are you being uncivilized? That's what the Second Amendment is for. When the First Amendment don't work, number 2 is right there. If you can't hit him with the jab, hit him with the right hook. 1-2. Imagine that. Hit him with a good old 1-2. So we can still push the paperwork and still bear arms. Why do we keep separating ourselves? That's like saying, you know, my left brain and my right brain are two different brains.
Right.
No, they are not. You can't separate them. If you do, you're gonna die. This isn't the Nightmare Before Christmas where you're the scientist and you take half your brain out and put it to another empty shell and then now there's two of you. That's not how this shit works. That's a cartoon. Just like you can't separate Flavor Flav from his chain, you can't separate your left brain from your right brain. Oh my God. Oh man. Your status is your mental competence. That's all it is, bro. That's it. Just like, what's the status of a carpenter? Their ability to do carpentry, right? Yeah, that's it. Ain't no paperwork they gotta file nowhere. Fuck. What's the status of a Chinese person? They're what? Chinese. All they say is that they're what? They're Chinese. And then they do what? Chinese stuff. Like what? Set up their store in the hood because they know niggas are gonna buy from them. And then they break bread with each other. What you mad for? Why? You the one giving them your money. Because you already know somebody who's growing tomatoes in their little flower garden somewhere. If you want tomatoes, buy it from them. Oh, well, I don't know them, and I don't know that nigga. You don't know that Chinese person? I don't know that nigga. You don't know the people at fucking Stop and Shop? I don't know that nigga. You don't know the people at fucking Whole Foods? Job Lot? You don't know them niggas? What you talking about? You you're paying their taxes. And you're paying their taxes. They tax you. The business is taxing you what they're supposed to pay.
Now that's some real niggas.
That's some real nigga shit. You don't know them niggas. See, that's the principle of nationality that you don't want to talk about. Why? Because you think this is about paperwork, you dummy. Now I gotta shake the room. That's right. All smoke. They know who run the city, right? And Prophet said, just because they're race men, don't mean you should support them. Why? Because some of these race men, you give them their money and they're spending it on dumb shit. Like what? They got Gucci belts, sleeping on a couch in an apartment with dishes piled to the ceiling. And then they buy fronts. You gonna support their business? Or how about this? Jay-Z and Beyonce. They got a $40 million house.
Don't forget Balenciaga's brother.
They got a $40 million house, and what they do for you?
And Balenciaga's.
What you need a $40 million house for?
Balenciaga's.
And Valencia, whatever the fuck?
I know.
Christian Dior, I know how to say that.
Pronunciation is an issue for real.
What do you need a $40 million house for? And what they got like 4 children?
What do you need $100,000 car for to go 65 miles an hour?
Bro, what do you need a 10K watch for? And most of our people can't even tell time by clock hands. I never seen a rapper look at their watch to tell the time. I never seen it.
You're supposed
Ever.
to look at the position of the sun.
Never seen this shit.
No, what time it is.
They gonna look up your phone anyway.
Yeah, look at their phone. So what you got the watch for, stupid? So you got a cell phone and a house phone? Who got house phones anymore? I'm still walking around with a beeper. Yo, let me get a Nextel chirp phone. Where you at? Home, like, as usual.
You dumb.
Any other questions? Because
Yes, and still on the taxes, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it. Now, I seen a couple of people post receipts of when you go to these people who you say is taxing us to do business with the Chinaman.
No, not me.
I mean,
The congressman said that. That's what he said.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we act on that? Like I say, what is it?
Act on what? What do you mean?
When you go into the store, say I'm not paying your taxes. I'm not paying this.
Yeah, that's where the USCIS number or the AA222141 number comes into play. That is our tax exempt number. Not necessarily our tax exempt number. It's a declaration of our status. because the AA is from, so the number, I'll tell you the number first. It's AA dash or hyphen, right? Hyphen is a dash, yeah. AA dash 222141. The AA is the highest level of citizenship. You can verify that by looking at the United States USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services.gov. They have a whole classification of citizenship from A1 to like AZ or some crazy shit like that.
Eight or eight?
AA, two A's, alpha alpha, yep.
Verified by the U.S.
USCIS.gov, which the USCIS means United States Citizenship and Immigration Services.gov, as in government, as in the government of the United States, not Jamal's premise.
Right.
So the AA means that you're a national at birth. That's what that means. 2 is Title 22 of the United States Code. The third 2 is Chapter 2, which is consular court. The 141 is subsection 141, which is dealing with separation of jurisdiction, or 2 different jurisdictions. So now, if you're recognizing me as a separate nation of people, I don't owe you taxes.
And the 141
Is subsection 141. So AA 222141 can be searched as 22 USC 141. So it's not necessarily a number, it's a reference to a law. That law proves that you don't owe them taxes. So that's what they type into their system. Because of what? Because of the fact that we're 2 separate nations.
Right.
So since we're 2 separate nations, we don't owe you shit. And just because we're just now waking up does not mean that doesn't apply to us. It's called just post limine. It means to be restored to a status as if you never lost it, because we never did. You can't lose your bloodline. We just lost our knowledge of it. Which is why Noble Drew Ali said, I came and reconnected you back with the higher powers. I mended the broken wires and reconnected you. That's it. He didn't create a nation. You was already here. You just forgot. So he reminded you, this is what it is. You're not this and this and this. You're a more. I gave you everything it takes to save a nation. So take it and you save yourself. Just easy. Then to cross-reference that, look up House Resolution 1203 of the state of Georgia and House Resolution 0689 of the state of Illinois, which confirm the fact that I said we are a separate nation of people. House Resolution HR, that's what HR means, House Resolution 1203 from the state of Georgia by Representative Abel Mabel of the 54th District of the state of Georgia, House of Representatives, and House Resolution 0689 from the state of Illinois. And where's our Mecca? Chicago. Where's Chicago at? Illinois. Oh. I remember when my prophet said, I'm going to force the Europeans to tell the truth. I remember that. And in said resolutions, they recognized Noble Drew Ali as a prophet. They recognized that he was born here. They recognized that he was the first Moorish patriot. They recognize that Moors are aboriginal and indigenous to North, South, and Central America. And they also recognize that we formed a sovereign theocratic government, which means we're separate from them. Yeah, I'm recording right here. I'm recording now. Now, to talk more about Noble Drew Ali and the type of government he established, because there's a lot of garbage going on about what type of government he established, right? Number one, it's a national government. A national government, when we look up the definition of national government as opposed to federal government in the Black's Law Dictionary, it'll tell you that they are 2 separate things. The United States is a federal government, not a national one. He said you're a citizen of a national government, not a federal one, which means you're not citizens of the United States, so that's number 1. Number 2, he reestablished the structure of government that our ancestors already had, which was a theocratic constitutional monarchy. Don't believe me? Look it up. What's theocratic? Theocratic means God power. Which he said what? We're one with Allah. So, yep, that sounds like God power to me. Or God rule. Or inspiration by God. Which, can you explain where you get your thoughts from? No, you can't. So that's inspiration from God. Constitutional, which means there's a body or frame of laws that you have to abide by. Which means it's not an absolute monarchy. So it's not absolute power. Which means that monarch is governed by the constitution that the people agree to. So it's not absolute power. Then he said there's only one prophet in one temple. That's a monarchy. And he said he's the supreme legislative, executive, and judicial officer of the movement. So that's a sovereign, theocratic, constitutional monarchy. Don't believe me? Study what the master etymologist Abdul El-Talib Mosley Bey told you to do. Look up etymology. Look up the etymology of these words. And if you simply Google constitutional monarchy, it'll say there's a difference between an absolute monarchy and a constitutional monarchy. Now, the reason why I'm saying it so sarcastically and arrogantly is because idiots who don't know the difference will say you're wrong, because they don't know that there's a difference between a constitutional monarchy and an absolute monarchy, because they don't know, and they're going to challenge you to the death because they don't know. So speak with them with arrogance, because they're coming at you with arrogance, and then still sun them, or do whatever you want.